Isaac Banks looked up from the magazine cover he'd grabbed downstairs from a line of free travel brochures. He'd gotten himself and his son to the Midwest and wasn't sure where to go next. Sebastian, Bass, had hopped up on the sloped ledge to get his face closer to the glass in the observation deck of the St. Louis Arch. 20 other people crowded around the panes to see the sprawling city below them. Isaac tucked the magazine under his arm and joined Bass at the window. The horizon blurred in the distance. "I'm not sure that's quite California, Guppy." "How do you know?" "Logic. We're too far away." Bass hopped off the ledge, already bored with the view. Keeping a 10-year-old boy entertained required stamina and creativity, especially when going on the third week of a cross-country road trip. Stamina, creativity, and a fair bit of patience. "That's just sad," Bass said. "Geography is sad?" "If we're this far up, we should at least be able to see the Rockies. It'd be cool if we could see Pikes Peak. Those trams were boss, and the sheep with the big horns bonking their heads together." He held his hands to the side of his head, as if holding giant cinnamon rolls over his ears, while a new batch of tourists joined them in the already crowded space, jostling them into the wall. "Ready to go back down, Wahoo? There's a frozen yogurt place in our hotel. We could get some, then order pizza and swim in the pool." Bass took one last look out the glass and nodded. They joined the line for the descending elevators, Isaac keeping his eye on the back of Bass's head and one hand on his shoulder. He crouched to fit inside the elevator pod, which they shared with a young couple, still in the early days of their romance, to judge by the amount of kissing. Each pod contained only 5 seats and a small window through which Bass watched their descent, occasionally commenting on all the steps they'd have to walk down if the elevator got stuck. Isaac kept himself occupied with the magazine, paging through articles about the best burger in the Midwest and how to get upgraded to first class without using miles. Isaac had taken enough time to finish up his last project and for Bass to finish the school year. Then they started out for their summer adventure. Or at least that was what Bass thought. In the 18 days since they'd left home, they'd shouted into the Grand Canyon, ridden horses in Estes Park, and watched the Oakland A's trounce the Royals in Kansas City. Though he'd lived in California all his life, it had been easy to leave San Jose, where too many people, like his mother who texted daily, knew about their troubles. Bass had grumbled about missing his summer baseball league until Isaac had promised they could catch a few games while on the trip, hence the A's game. He had no qualms using some judicious bribery to start their journey in a good mood. Isaac watched Bass's breath fog up the window, his legs bouncing. Even an elevator ride couldn't contain his need for perpetual motion. The little boy cheeks had sharpened into those of a young man some time in the last year. Big feet didn't match the skinny legs they were attached to. His still high voice disarmed his dad with an occasionally good argument for why he should get to stay up later, and a little sprig of hair on the crown of his head still refused to lay flat. And Bass didn't care. Yet. Isaac's innocent little boy grew up more each day, and he was bound and determined that they would have this last summer of simple boyhood. "Where are we going next?" Bass said, sitting so close to him that he was almost on his lap. Isaac put an arm around him and flipped the magazine's page. The headline read, 10 Best Places to Get Away from It All. He scanned the article. Most were coastal, like Key West or Malibu. No thank you. But number 2 had potential. How about here? He pointed to the words Door County, Wisconsin, next to photos of a towering white lighthouse, a winding road through an autumnal tunnel of arching trees, and isolated rocky shores with a single kayaker exploring the nooks and crannies. The article described a rural, remote peninsula where people spent their days in leisure amid orchards and ice cream shops, the perfect place for an idyllic postcard American childhood summer.